Sometimes the hardest decisions we make in our youth become the defining moments of our entire lives. Today, I want to share the story of Linda Morrison, a 50-year-old nurse from Naperville, Illinois, who gave up her daughter for adoption when she was just 18 years old. For 32 years, Linda wondered if she'd made the right choice. For 32 years, she wondered if her daughter was happy, healthy, loved. And for 32 years, she carried a secret that only 3 people in the world knew. Until one December morning, when her phone pinged with a notification from Ancestry DNA, you have a new close family match. This is a story about forgiveness, both giving it and receiving it, about the courage it takes to face your past, and the grace required to build a future from broken pieces. So settle in, because Linda's journey will remind you that it's never too late for healing, and family isn't always defined by who raised you. Sometimes it's defined by who never stopped loving you. Linda Morrison had built a good life in Naperville, one of those comfortable Chicago suburbs where families gather at Riverwalk in summer and the downtown lights up for Christmas like something out of a Hallmark movie. At 50 years old, she was a respected nurse at Edward Hospital, specializing in labor and delivery, 25 years of helping other women bring their babies into the world. Her husband, Tom, a civil engineer, had been her rock for 23 years. Their 2 sons, Daniel, 21, and Christopher, 19, were both in college, making their parents proud. To everyone who knew her, Linda had the perfect life. What they didn't know was that she carried a weight that never fully lifted, no matter how blessed she felt. On June 15, 1991, when Linda was 18 years old and barely out of high school in Peoria, Illinois, she gave birth to a baby girl. She held her daughter for exactly 45 minutes before signing the adoption papers. Closed adoption, no contact. It was, her parents insisted, the right thing to do. Linda was too young, they said. No college degree, no husband, no way to provide the life that baby deserved. The adoptive parents were a doctor and a teacher from Lake Forest. They could give that little girl everything. You'll move on, her mother had promised. You'll have other children. This is just a chapter, not the whole book. But what no one tells you about giving up a child is that it's never just a chapter. It becomes the prologue to everything that follows. Every birthday, every Christmas, every Mother's Day, Linda would think about her daughter and wonder, is she happy? Does she look like me? Does she ever think about me? Linda had told Tom about the adoption before they got married. He'd been understanding, supportive even, but she'd never told Daniel and Christopher. How do you explain to the sons you raised that they have a sister you gave away? The shame of that secret had quieted over the years but never disappeared. It lived in her chest like a stone she'd learned to carry. It was Daniel who started it all, completely by accident. For Christmas 2023, he'd bought DNA testing kits for the whole family. One of those Ancestry DNA packages that everyone was doing now. Come on, Mom, it'll be fun, he'd insisted. We can find out if we're really Irish like Grandma always said, or if there's some Viking in there. Linda's hands had trembled as she held that little box. The cheerful packaging promised, discover your family story, and connect with relatives around the world. What if her daughter had also taken one of these tests? What if after 32 years of careful silence, a plastic tube and some saliva would reveal everything? She'd almost thrown it away, almost told Daniel she was allergic to the chemicals or something equally absurd, but Tom had squeezed her hand under the table. Maybe it's time, he'd whispered later that night. Maybe this is how it's supposed to happen. So Linda had taken the test, mailed it in, and then tried to forget about it. 6 weeks later, in early February, she'd received her ethnicity results. Mostly Irish and German, some English, nothing surprising. No unexpected relatives showing up. She'd felt relieved and disappointed in equal measure. But DNA databases are living things. They grow as more people test. And on December 8, 2024, 9 months after Linda had submitted her sample, her phone pinged at 6:47 a.m. while she was making coffee before her shift. You have a new close family match on Ancestry. Linda's hand froze on the coffee pot. She picked up her phone with shaking fingers. The match showed a confidence level of 99.9%. Predicted relationship, parent, child. There was a name, Emma Catherine Stevens, and a location, Evanston, Illinois. Her daughter, her baby, had been living 40 miles away all this time. Close enough that they might have passed each other in downtown Chicago. Close enough that they'd been breathing the same air for 32 years. Linda sat down at her kitchen table, still in her scrubs, coffee forgotten. The Ancestry website showed a messaging option. She could reach out. After 32 years of silence, she could say something. But what do you say? Hi, I'm your birth mother felt insane. Like announcing, I gave you away and now I want to talk, seemed cruel. Linda stared at that blank message box for 20 minutes. Then she wrote and deleted 6 different messages. Finally, with tears streaming down her face, she typed, Hello, Emma. I don't know if you've been looking for me, or if this match is a surprise. My name is Linda Morrison. I've thought about you every single day for 32 years. If you want to talk, I would love to hear from you. If you're not ready or if you're angry, I understand that too. I just want you to know that letting you go was the hardest thing I've ever done, and not a day has passed that I haven't wondered if you were okay. Linda. She hit send before she could overthink it. Then she sat at that table and cried for the first time in years. Really cried. The kind of crying that comes from a place so deep you forgot it existed. Tom found her there an hour later, still in her scrubs, mascara running, phone clutched in her hand. She's in Evanston, was all Linda could say. She's been 40 miles away this whole time. The response came 18 hours later, at 1:23 a.m. Linda wasn't sleeping. She'd been checking her phone every 3 minutes since she'd sent that message. Linda, I've been searching for you since I turned 18. My parents, my adoptive parents, always told me about you. They said you were brave and young and wanted the best for me. I'm not angry. I'm grateful, and I'd really like to meet you. Over the next week, Linda and Emma exchanged messages. Careful at first, then increasingly open. Emma sent photos, and Linda saw her own face staring back at her from 32 years earlier. Same green eyes, same smile that was a little crooked on the left side, same way of tilting her head in pictures. Emma was a social worker at a nonprofit in Chicago, working with at-risk youth. She was engaged to a teacher named Michael. She loved hiking and photography and volunteering at animal shelters. She'd had a good childhood, she said, loving parents who'd told her from the beginning that she was adopted and chosen and wanted. They never made me feel like I was missing anything, Emma wrote. But I always wondered about you, what you looked like, if you thought about me, if you were okay. Linda wanted to meet immediately, but Tom urged patience. This is good, Lynn. This is all good, he said, holding her as she cried happy, confused tears. But you need to tell Daniel and Christopher first. They deserve to know before Emma walks into their lives. That conversation was the hardest one Linda had ever had. She gathered her sons home from college on a Friday night in January, made their favorite dinner, and then sat them down in the family room where they'd opened Christmas presents just weeks before. There's something I need to tell you about my past, something I should have told you a long time ago. Daniel and Christopher listened as their mother explained about being 18 and scared and making an impossible choice, about carrying that secret for 32 years, about the DNA test and Emma and the messages. So, we have a sister? Christopher said slowly. Yes, you have a sister, and I'm so sorry I never told you. The silence stretched forever. Then Daniel, her oldest, said something that broke Linda's heart and healed it at the same time. Mom, you don't have anything to apologize for. You were a kid making the best choice you could, and now we get to meet her. That's pretty cool. They agreed to meet at a Starbucks in downtown Chicago. Neutral territory, public enough to feel safe, private enough to have a real conversation. Linda arrived 15 minutes early with Tom. She'd changed her outfit 3 times. What do you wear to meet the daughter you gave up 32 years ago? She'd settled on a simple sweater and jeans, trying to look approachable and not like she was trying too hard. At exactly 2 p.m., the door opened and a young woman walked in, 28 years old. Auburn hair pulled into a ponytail, green eyes scanning the coffee shop nervously. Their eyes met, and Linda stood up without thinking. For a moment, they just stared at each other. Then Emma smiled, that crooked smile Linda saw in the mirror every day, and crossed the coffee shop. Linda, Emma, they hugged, and Linda felt something she'd been missing for 32 years click into place. This was her daughter. This was the baby she'd held for 45 minutes. This was the child she'd dreamed about and wondered about and loved from a distance for 3 decades. You're real, Linda whispered. You're really here. I'm really here, Emma said, crying now too. And you're exactly what I imagined. They sat for 4 hours in that Starbucks. Linda told Emma everything. About being 18 and terrified, about her parents' pressure, about signing those papers while crying so hard she could barely see, about thinking about her every birthday, every Mother's Day, every time she helped deliver a baby at the hospital. I need you to know, Linda said, gripping Emma's hands across the table, that giving you up wasn't because I didn't want you. It was because I wanted you to have everything I couldn't give you. I loved you enough to let someone else raise you. I've never stopped loving you. Emma squeezed back. My parents told me that. They said my birth mother loved me so much she made sure I had the best life possible. They were right. Do you hate me for it? Linda, Emma's voice was firm. I have 2 moms. One who gave me life and loved me enough to give me a chance, and one who raised me and loved me every day. You're both my mom. There's no hate here, only gratitude. 3 weeks later, Emma met Daniel and Christopher at a brewery in Naperville. Linda watched from across the room as her 3 children, because that's what they were now, her 3 children, laughed together over appetizers and craft beer. Daniel showed Emma pictures from his college baseball games. Christopher told embarrassing stories about their mom. Emma shared stories about growing up in Lake Forest and her work with troubled teenagers. You know what's wild? Daniel said at one point. You chose to work with kids who need help. Mom works in labor and delivery. Christopher wants to be a pediatrician. It's like helping kids is in our DNA or something. Emma had laughed. Maybe some things are just meant to be. The healing wasn't instant or perfect. Linda still struggled with guilt sometimes. Emma had moments where she wondered about the what ifs. But they were building something new. Not trying to replace the past, but creating a future that honored all of it. Emma's adoptive parents, Karen and David Stevens, even joined them for dinner one evening. Linda had been terrified of that meeting. Would they resent her? Judge her? But Karen had hugged her in the restaurant parking lot and said, "Thank you for trusting us with her. We gave her all the love we had, but she always had a piece of you in her heart." Last month, Emma and Michael got married. Linda and Karen both walked Emma down the aisle, one on each side. In Emma's wedding speech, she thanked both of her mothers. One gave me life, and one gave me a childhood. Together, they gave me everything. Linda told me this story at the hospital where she works, during a quiet moment between deliveries. She's 51 now, and she says the weight she carried for 32 years is finally gone. People ask me if I regret the adoption, Linda said. And here's the truth. I regret the circumstances. I regret being so young and scared. I regret the years we lost. But I don't regret the decision, because Emma had the childhood I couldn't have given her. And now we have the rest of our lives to build something beautiful. Emma is pregnant now, due in June. She's asked Linda to be in the delivery room. It's full circle, Linda told me, tears in her eyes. The first baby I held was her, and now I get to hold her baby. That's not luck. That's grace. If Linda and Emma's story touched your heart, please like this video and subscribe for more true stories about healing, second chances, and the power of forgiveness. Drop a comment and tell me, have you ever reconnected with someone after years apart? Or are you searching for someone? Your story matters, and sharing it might help someone else take that brave first step. Next week, I'll be sharing the story of a man who discovered his childhood best friend had saved his life without him ever knowing. The truth will amaze you. Remember, it's never too late for healing, it's never too late for love, and it's never too late to say the words you've been holding back.